Hello, good evening, everyone. Hey, hello. How are you, boys and girls? Hey, Matt, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. And today we're gonna continue on the random encounters, which is what we were working yesterday as well. I think yesterday we achieved a pretty good objective, which was to have at least one NPC properly spawn in the tavern and to have the scripting part to be pretty much completed. So I think we all the basics, all the foundation of the system are kind of in place. We still have few things to do, but overall, I would say pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know why sometimes automatically I get new bookmarks here even when I don't want. So let's review a bit our mission here. So our mission was the following, right? And of this one, we already did a lot of points. We are actually working on this one, which is the spawn of the NPC, right? And the activation of their brain and also the randomization. Now, we have seen that for some reason the randomization seems to be picking always the same guy. And it is a bit weird. So this is the first thing I want to check. So we are randomizing the NPC when we do the spawn, and the spawn is kind of down here somewhere. Random event manager, actually inside random event manager spawn. Yes, so the randomization of the race happens here, and unless I did some mistakes, it should randomize between 3, and then it's getting the result, and the result is getting here, and yeah, it seems to be fine. The code should be okay. So, or we were really randomizing always the first one, or so we were a bit unlucky, let's say, but this should be randomized between 0 and 2, right? And we were always getting the same character. But let's run it and see what it's doing. Let me go back to my normal face size. I use a big face only for the greetings. How is the audio today? I hope it's good as yesterday. Many of you were saying that the audio was pretty good yesterday. I'm happy about that because it's the new microphone. And okay, it seems my webcam just decided to stop for whatever reason. Yes, because it's too low, and so it's not picking up my face. Okay, now it should be better. It was a bit too low. We didn't do any code changes, so I'm expecting it to start. Yes, in fact, it's starting, so it doesn't have to recompile anything. You just need to load up everything in debug mode. We are running in debug mode because we want to see this random range, what is getting out. It should be getting out a number between 0 and 2, at least in this particular example. But for some reason, it seems that we always get the same one, unless, wait a second, unless inside our races, we have, no, actually we have different meshes specified. So should be fine. Should be fine. I don't know, but we'll see. He's starting up. Okay, so it's starting up. Now, the condition to spawn the event is that there are some players nearby. Okay, if there are no players nearby, the event is actually not starting. And so the server now is probably trying to create the event, but without a player next to it, is bailing out. So now we are connecting with a player. By the way, I added a check. Okay. I added a check that is excluding game masters from the event generation. So actually, I think I need to set myself as a player. Otherwise, it will not work because, or I can skip that check. Let me skip that check, maybe. I can force it. I know it's not the best, but we can force it. Looking for the random is here. When he's doing this, and I'm nearby, we can force it to pick me up anyway. I think no. Yes and no. Yes and no. It's probably easier if I just remove my admin. If I remove my admin, or I connect with, if I connect with an account which is not a GM, guest, dev1, dev2, GM1, GM2, GM1, GM2. All these accounts, unfortunately, are GM level, so I need to, yeah. Now there is one. This one is not. Craig is not. But so, or we connect with this guy, but I don't know if he has any character in the area, right? So because the problem is that we need to have at least one character. Hello. Hey, PD. Ciao, Paolo. The new microphone is really good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I changed it, and it seems that everyone is saying that the microphone is great, so pretty happy about that. Also, I managed to control the noise with the noise suppression, so I think it's pretty good. By the way, there is the weekly meeting in about 10 minutes. Well, it's not weekly, I think it's bi-weekly, but there is the bi-weekly dev Q&A, and I think we can connect to it. It's in the old game, it's not in the new one, but I think we can connect there and have the meeting. Okay, so while we develop, and then we can pick up some questions if there are questions, so we can do that. We can do that. So basically the event, the random generated event should happen here. So the NPC should spawn just in front of me. The problem we're having now is that if I look at the code, I'm getting excluded, right? Because I'm a game master. So we have two ways around this. Or we break here and we skip it manually. Or I remove the, or I temporarily remove this check. Because the check is actually this one, right? So I changed it. I changed it so that is excluding game masters, which I think is a good idea, but now for our test is messing up a bit because we want the event to actually properly happen, right? Let's see if we go through this. He should stop here somehow, someday, some way, somehow. He should stop again. I think it's every 30 seconds now. Unless it happened already. Okay, yes, he's checking for players now. And I think it will time out though. Because he goes through... Okay, the actor is me, so let me just do this. And let me execute, and the rest we can skip. So now I think he added me, right? But it failed somewhere else, I think. I think it failed somewhere else. No, I need to comment it out, otherwise it's too much of a mess to test it, okay? We're just wasting more time to test it then. So let me remove this check. I know it's a nice check, but... So we will have to re-add this check, right? So for now we will skip it, otherwise it's messy. So in 5 minutes we have the meeting starting. I think I can launch the... Can I have the client? Yeah, I think I can. The old client was not consuming a lot of memory, so I think I can have the old client running and the new one as well. Which will be this one to start, okay? Okay, compiled. It compiled. The event is an event that we run in game. The Meet the Devs is an event that we run in game in a particular building, and is basically a meeting for players to connect with us, and if they want to ask any questions or if they have any comments on the game or things like that, they can ask, right? I think it was a good thing. I think it was requested originally by them, by players, and we decided to do it because they were complaining that there was not enough communication by the developers, right? And so we decided to host the meeting in game I think it's every 2 weeks, or anyways twice a month. It's twice a month, so I'm not participating to those events very often, I have to say, unfortunately, because I tend to work more on the game than else. But okay, this is the old game, so I don't get fooled. Everything is working here. Everything is working fine. And that is how you recognize it's the old game. So this game was made quite some time ago, and is made with another engine, which is called Crystal Space. It's an old engine, and is an engine that is not supported anymore these days. And this is one of the reasons why we decided to change it, right? Really? I think it's not yet in game. So I'm just teleporting to someone which is in the courthouse, and the guild house, no, in the courtyard, whatever is the name, so that we can now it would be hard for me to switch with the old plane shift controls, right? Because I'm too used to the Unreal Engine ones, but okay, I don't think I have sound at the moment, so we will keep this open and we will check it now. We can say I have to set myself not invisible, set me invisible off. Okay, so what you see is basically a courthouse or courtyard, what is the name, where we host this kind of events. We invite players to it, and usually there are some developers showing up. In this case, we have one game master, which is Wadjet, which is always present, and thanks to him, really. And sometimes there are also other people joining. And there are, as you can see, some players here waiting for the meeting to start. So I can say hi, I can greet everyone, and we can see if there are any questions. This meeting, I would say this meeting is live on Twitch and YouTube as well. Part of my streams, of my development streams. Let's say we can say it happened at the same time of one of my live streams. And so you are now live. So watch what you're saying. And now people will start to swear all the time. Now the window is a bit small. I cannot increase it without restarting the client, but I hope it's enough for you. Meanwhile, we are waiting the meeting to start. I think it's basically starting. I let WordJet do the thing. We will keep an eye on this, but let me just see if we have enough memory to start. Also, we have about 11 giga left. I think it should be enough. Now in debug mode is, it's already running in debug mode. Okay, perfect. So with 11 giga, definitely we are able to start also the PS Unreal client at the same time. That's the power of my machine. Look at that. Look at that. It's a 3 or 4 years old machine, but it's still doing its job. People tend not to notice you if you go in one of the balconies. Good tip. Good positioning tip. Now, as you can see in this window, you know, this is the old game. The main thing that you may notice are the shadows and the lighting, which is extremely basic and simple compared to the new game. That is because we didn't have stencil shadows. We didn't have, you know, good light system. I mean, it was doing its job, but it was mostly based on light maps, and mainly the shadow of the characters was just done with a very simple marker below them without any rendering of the real silhouette, right? So it was really simple at that time. Now with Unreal Engine we can do way more. I think I can keep this running and still develop on Unreal. I think we can. Okay, so the guy is spawning already. So let me see which kind of race we are getting, right? Oh, we are getting the number 2. We are getting the number 2. Let me check which one is the number 2. Is again the alien guy? No, I think the number 2 should be something different. That is because we spawned next to him, so the event actually already started. The random event, I mean. And so I will be doing 2 things at the same time, so if you're getting confused about it, just ask me what I'm doing and I will explain you. But basically we have a regular meeting running here in this window, which is the old client, and at the same time I'm doing some tests in Unreal Engine in this other window. Even if I see that is suffering a bit, yeah, I don't know if we can do it. I don't know if we can do it. I think it looks like it's suffering a bit to have the old client, the server in debug mode, and the new client running at the same time. So it seems it's suffering a bit in the loading, and it actually disconnected. Okay, I think it worked now. Aha, okay, we have a new race. Okay, so you see that we now have a different race spawning in the NPC location, which is great. We only have a problem that is flying, and the reason it's flying because we have selected a point which is off the ground by mistake, but we can just, you know, fix it. I think I can just go down by, I think it's like in waypoints, is this waypoint. I think if we can just go down by like half a meter or something like that, will be okay. So in the Z, if we remove, we should remove like 50 centimeters, right? So we can go to, I don't know, 680 or something, 670. I think if we go to 670, in the next run will be fine, okay? But I mean, we don't care about that at the moment. It's fine. So what we see, we basically see an NPC which is getting spawned randomly, you know, in the tavern, which is exactly what we wanted. Let me check just if in the meeting there are any questions or anything. Everyone is greeting me. Hello. Hello. I let Jet run the show. Okay, so I think you will be doing that. Now, what we want to test now, this, as you can see, if I right click on this guy, nothing happens. Okay, if I right click on me, I get stuff. So the reason is that this NPC at the moment is just a mesh. So it doesn't have any real information associated to him, right? And this is what we are gonna do next. So we want to maybe let me keep it in the other window so I see. Looks for the camera and straightens itself. So what we want to do, apart from the Epic Launcher always opening up when you stop. So what we want to do, here we just randomize the race, okay? And we spawned the NPC, right? We already spawned it with the right race, with the right ID, with the right position, right? So that's good. Now, the second part, which is the hardest, is to actually simulate the real loading of the NPC, also for the other characteristics, which are the traits and everything else. So the function that is doing that is actually this function here called load, which is expecting, by the way, this should be this, which is expecting actually a query on the database, right? Unfortunately. So we need to think how to do it, because this one was working directly from the database. In this case, we are generating an NPC on the fly, which is a completely different thing, right? And so, or we create a new load, The problem of creating a new load, and I don't like it, is that then if we do some changes to it, then we will have to duplicate the change in two places, and it is really not something I want to do. The problem is that this code is heavily based on this, right? So one idea could be, okay, and I'm just thinking loud here, but one idea could be to use the same function, not to use the same function, to create two functions, but they basically then call the same code here. So there is another, so all this get gets basically passed in as a parameter, because I don't see many other ways of doing it. I mean, one way for me will be to create this result set, so I could fake it, you know, I could create a new result set, faking the actual results, and I think that that will be already something. But then, as we have seen yesterday, I think, in the code, we are, at least for certain stuff like the traits and the skill, you see, for sure the skills, and I think also the traits, we are hitting the database again. And that's a problem. Yes, for the skills and for the traits, and also for the inventory, I think. Or another thing that we could do, we could have, you know, a special ID, and this ID will be like -1 or something, so something that we can recognize, and when we are catching that particular one, we do the loading in a different way. Or we skip it. Or we skip it. I need to think how to do this, boys, because it's not easy. I mean, all this code is relying on the database, you see, so it's always reading the database. I'm just thinking if it's easier to break this function or to create a new one. You want to see what is happening in the meeting? There is some people saying welcome, hello, thanks for enjoying playing. The tiger thing in the last stream is awesome. This tiger thing in the live stream. It's not a tiger, it's an Enkidukai. It's not a tiger, it's an Enkidukai. Why tiger? Why tiger? By the way, is an Enkidukai, and I think is a Kaio, right? Is a Kaio. I think is, yes. In particular is Enkidukai of Akayo Desar, which is one of the areas of the city of the cat people. With a bubble blowing pipe. Yeah, the bubble blowing is so-so, I understand, but magic. Bubble blowing is magic. But I choose this character, I mean, because it looks like, hello Gian, because hello Jerry. Yeah, we are streaming. We are live, and at the same time there is an event in game, so you may see this sometimes I switch to this window where there is an event running in the game, and players are basically asking to us few questions. I'm not very active in those meetings usually, but I may be active today just because we are live. Why not? So I'm trying to make up my mind on this, but at the end, I think that we will duplicate. You know, because it's just too much, you know, it's just too much here to do like the switch, like if is a random event, then do this. If is not, do that. For this section, for this section, for this section, for this section, you know? I mean, it's insane. It's too many pieces. So I think we will have something load for event or something like that, right? Something like load for event, and we will create a new function. I don't have another easy way. I think it should be inside character because we are going to access a lot of the actual function. So let's do this, okay? Yeah, we will duplicate, okay? We will duplicate. So we will have a function called load for event, right? And we will have to see which kind of parameter we are going to send to it. We will decide it in a second. I think will be, I think just a long list of parameters, right? And we are going to create it inside PS character, and I'm going to create inside PS character somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but somewhere. Maybe next to the other load. What do you think, huh? Could be a good idea. Load. Yes. I think we can do it next to this one, right? Why would this not comment anything? Anyway, load an NPC from the database. So we will have another one, which is load an NPC with given data for a random event, right? And this one will be load for event, will still be a Boolean. And in terms of parameters, at the moment I have no idea. We will see. We will decide it in a second. So inside my PS character, I think we can go PS character load and put it just next to the other one so that we can just, I think the majority of the stuff we will not need, okay? I think the majority we will not need. I'm not expecting, you know, to have all of this done. I'm not expecting it because this one is working for players and for NPC and is actually pretty complex, right? So we don't need all of that, but just for the sake of it, let me copy the wall thing, and then we will I know it looks bad, but you will see that it's not that bad, okay? You will see that it's not that insane. So we will copy the wall thing, the full set, and then we will start to butcher it, putting in only the information that we need. Okay, so the first thing is setting the ID equal to the PID. Now this is something that I don't know if we really want to do, but probably we have to, because every NPC in the game needs to have an ID, and the point is that this ID must be unique, right? Must be unique. Now the question is, how do we keep it unique, considering that we have in the database hundreds of thousands of players, right? And characters. So because it's something that we generate on the fly, but at the same time, so one thing that we can do, we can go maybe below 8 millions. I think there was we had a kind of an idea that all the players were starting probably above 10 millions or something like that, and everything that was below it was dedicated to NPC. I think there was this idea, right? So let me try to do this. Let me just check if there is any question for us. Storage limit would prevent, okay, blah, 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 increase the stack size, a bit storage, yes, so increasing the stack size would help, I think, which would reduce the need for a guild house. So some people too much in the storage category, many types. They are discussing about storage and ability to expand the actual storage. Okay. Okay, so what we do, can we reserve like from 90,000 to 100,000 for our events? I think would be enough. 10,000 NPC, I think would be more than enough. So let me see if there is anything between 90,000 and in the production database, right? In the production database. So we do select count from plane shift prod2 dot characters, right? Where, oops, my webcam GG'd. Yeah. Select count from plane shift prod2 character where ID is greater than 90,000 and ID less than 100,000. Right, let me see if we get, oops, select. Let me see if we get any value out of this. 0, perfect. So I think we can use this range, right? I think we can use this range. So we will just add 90,000 to the thing, which I think is fine. So the first thing we need, then we need the ID, and the ID, the PID will then become ID plus 90,000, okay? And we just put a comment, so we reserve the space between 90K and 100K for the on the fly generated NPC, okay? So I think that this could be, anyway, a good idea. By the way, this should be APS character. All right. Now, what is the start time? I have no idea. Probably because we are using the start to. We're calculating second, millisecond, warning span, and loading the character. Well, we don't care about this. I think this one we can delete just to keep the code clean. And maybe we can just put it. We can put this comment on top of this. Let me just see if there is any question for us. That was the special quantity. I made one weapon, one shield, one piece of jewelry, every possible enhancement. Technical, I think. Well, wow, yeah. Then divided by 4. Yeah, wow, wait, wow. I don't know. They are discussing about stuff. It's okay for us, so we can continue. Buddy manager initialize. Quest manager initialize. I mean, this thing, I don't think is really needed. Because actually we don't have, I mean, our NPC will have no buddies. So this one I'm pretty sure I can remove. This one, depends if in the future are we going to add quests for this NPC, right? I don't know for random events, for random events NPC. This I don't know, so I don't know if we are going to add in the future. So if we are going to add it, then we need to re-enable this, okay? Otherwise it will not work. Now account ID will be 9. Why 9? Because 9 was the old super client, and which was basically the AI manager, and I think we can keep the same thing. So all the characters that are owned by the server have account ID equal to 9, right? Character type is pretty simply do we have a numeration for this? I think we do. Okay, so character type would be NPC. So in our case is fairly simple. Now, name and last name. Name and last name. Name and last name we need to pass in. Now, I don't know if you're generating the whole thing, but I think we need an F string name and an F string last name. Okay, we need to decide. It cannot be named this way. Any of this cannot be named this way, otherwise we start to complain about shadowing local variables and things like that. So we do this and we do that, and so we have set the name of our NPC. Now the old name, I have no idea. I think the old name can stay as empty, and I think is good as that, right? Now race ID, yes, the race ID we need to pass in. So there would be an int race ID or in race ID, and we're gonna pass the race here. Now race info is gonna get this. Okay, we can leave this thing, but obviously we checked it already, so it cannot go bad. It's impossible that it goes bad. And here we will have race ID, character ID, race ID, and we can say, but you know, this check is totally useless. Let me remove it. It's completely useless. It's not needed. It will never fail. We will always pass in a race ID which is valid. So set walk speed to the one read from the database. That's an interesting one. Yes, it's connected to the race info walk speed, which we have. So I think this can stay exactly as it is. Actually, in this case, is the one that we read from race info. Let me just check the meeting. If there is any questions? Got to check. Beauty work. Come up with an idea. Sounds good. I've been thinking categories, split merge. Give me some time and I'll do it. They are discussing about how to better split the categories, and by categories they mean these things, right? So we have in the game a kind of a tree of information which is categorizing all the items in the game, and they are divided like by ingredients and alchemy and animal parts and effects and whatever, right? And hides, and yeah, some stuff is something that players cannot see, but right? And they are discussing about better organizing this list of items, which by the way is the same list of items we have also in Unreal. Hello, George. Hey, welcome back. No soundtrack? We can put it on, no problem. Yes, you are right. We can put on our soundtrack. We can put on some video game music. Why not? Okay, so this one is good. Now, what is this thing? This thing is totally useless, at least in this case. Now, set the description. Do we want this character to have a description? Well, I think it would be nice. I think it would be nice to have a description. I think it would be nice. At the moment, we don't have it in our XML. So our XML is not including that, but I think we can add it. It's a good idea. All of that is only for players, and so creation info, all of this stuff, we will just leave it completely empty, okay? I think we can also remove the comments, because anyway, I just want to set them to empty so that we are sure that we are not messing up with any null pointers or anything. So Oh my god, set description is still using a char pointer. Why? I think we should change it. Let me change it now. I hope it's not impacting too many places, but I think we don't want to have, you know, char strings anywhere anymore. Let me search for a set description, and I will change it to an F string. Okay. Okay. Then so we did this. Now spawn rule. Spawn rule. I think spawn rule in this case will be always empty, and master ID will be also empty. So I think that for now we just set, you know, a -1 and -1 for both of them, and anything will be enough. This one we don't use, so I think we can delete it. Base hit points. For sure we need to decide the hit points of our NPC in case is a fighter. Again, at the moment in our database we don't have that. So our NPC is without HP and mana, but we need to add it for sure. We need to add it here. That's a good point. So I don't know exactly what he's doing here, but we just need this line. We don't need all of that because it will be provided by the script. So we will have an integer which is called in HP, and another one which is in mana, and these two we are gonna set the HP yeah, and the same for the mana. So you see that when you have already the values, this code becomes extremely smaller, right? So this is what I was hoping for, so that we don't have all this huge list of stuff. Override max HP. I have no idea what is it, but let's leave it as the base as it is. Now here we are loading the skills. So we need this one. This one we need absolutely. HP and mana. So we need the skills and stats. And the skills and stats need to be loaded. Now here, or we create a separate function, or let me see what is going on in the meeting meanwhile. Oh, we are going to Batella looks like just in between into the client. I'm not helping to categorize the limitation having the name, not real. Yup. Would you love to see the system? I have never had a chance. We are going to release. Is there a question for me? I don't know what they're discussing about. How do you change the camera view and walk in Unreal? In Unreal, you can change the camera. You can. You can zoom in and out with mouse wheel. There are no other settings at the moment. No. Tab enters combat mode. Well, that affects the camera. So yeah, tab is anyway affecting the camera somehow because it's like going into mouse mode. Tab goes in combat mode, which is using mouse mode to move, right? So in a sense, yes. In a sense, yes, you can. And then I'm just saying about testing the Unreal version, we will be releasing a new alpha soon. I don't know exactly when, but we need to release it. It's so long time now. It's like 3 months or 3 months. So I think it's due. I mean, it's something that we need. We really need to do. Something that we have to do. If you want me to go quicker. If you want me to go quicker, join Patreon. End of advertising. Okay. Do you make Linux build? Yes, we made a yes. We successfully made Linux, Mac OS X, and Windows clients. So we managed to test all the 3 platforms, and they were running well in all 3 platforms. Now the Mac being the hardest one for sure, so we had a lot of trouble in completing the Mac version, but yeah, we had yes, building for Mac is solved. Yes. What is the name of the lady? Meline? Due to new OS upgrades not being compatible with current PS. Yeah, there was a person that was playing the game a lot, and she was on Mac, and unfortunately the Mac compatibility was broken like 1 year ago or something, or I don't know, 8 months ago, and she completely disappeared because it's a person that has like thousands of hours in the game. But maybe I think she will check the, if he's still interested, and maybe she just gave up and started to play another MMO. Could be. I would not blame her for that. Okay, so going back to what we are doing, we need to set the skills and the stats. Now this function, which is load skills, I think we need to redo, right? Maybe this one we can, you know, maybe this one we can make parametric so that I can, because in this case is getting the ID, and from the ID is getting cache manager get skill amount, cache manager get skill by ID, skill set, skill info. I have no idea what it's doing here. There is no comment, so I don't know what is this get skill amount really, but I think it's cycling on all the skills and is adding that skill to the player. And then here is cycling on all the skills. It is cycling on all the skills and is loading the, it is setting the skill and calculating the stuff. So in our case we have, I don't know, maybe we can have a similar function which is loading it by an array, or maybe we can simulate this thing. I don't know if I can create a result set. I have no idea if I can manually create a result set. Because if I can, then I can cheat a bit, you know? Get result set. Because the result set is created by... is created... by a SQL operation. I just don't get if no, but it's not a good idea to do it this way. It's not a good idea. No, I mean, replicating this is not a good idea, so I will not do it. But what we can do, we can maybe split the load, because definitely we need the load skills. There is no way. We need this function, you know, to load the skill of our NPC. Now, what is the best way to do it without impairing our stuff? Let me see if they speak to me as well. Put in just this. No, they're speaking of something else. Skills account. So, or I put it in a temporary array. I mean, it's not very nice, but I think that that's what we're gonna do. We can load a temporary array, you know. And the temporary array will be made of well, actually we need a bit more than an array. We need a structure. Fuck. Or I just replicate this function twice. I can't replicate this function. I'm not a fan of copy pasting functions, you know, because then if you change something here, let's say that we change this calculate and we have it in two places, it's so annoying. But I don't see another easy way to remove this R coding of the... I think I need to copy it. I will have to do the same for the trades, by the way. Unfortunately, I need to duplicate it because messing up, I mean, it's too many places, you know. Again, doing if becomes No, I need to duplicate it, boys. There's no way. So we will do a load skill by array or something. And how did we load our skills, by the way? That's a good question. So we should check in our random event. How did we define the actual skills? We have an array of skill value, okay. So we can just pass in this thing. Yes, just an array of skill value. So I think that our function will have this as an input. Obviously, this one is not needed anymore. I need to declare, oh wait. No. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, please. Do you want to work the event system in the meeting? Yeah, I can if you want. What jet? Take a talk about what is working on. Yes, I can speak about it. They are asking if I speak about what I'm working on at the moment. So the basic idea is to have a system which is adding more variations, which is capable of generating. The basic idea is to have a system which is capable of generating random events in the game, where an event can be from a pterosaur flying in the sky for a short amount of time, to a merchant showing up on the road and selling something special, right? The system allows devs to define templates. Templates define what should happen in the event. For example, you can define add some NPC. You can spawn an NPC, have him speak, decide is let me speak, etc. And you can randomize some elements of the event. For example, you can randomize the traits, the race name traits of the NPC. So every time it will show up, will look like a different person. So So every time we show up, we will look like a different person. So we could use this. We could use this to generate peasants, or how do you say, citizens in Italy, walking around and then disappearing. Maybe people that you will never actually talk with, or I think we will come up with more ideas on how to use this. The NPC part of the event can also be aggressive, right? And you can fight with them. And can also have loot. So basically it's a way to make the wall, I mean to make things way more dynamic, right? Now, the big events, I mean, the big events will have to be anyway driven and scripted by devs, I think. I'm saying on the other side, I think the big events will still need to be driven, scripted by devs and game master, as those will be more unique. So the idea is that you can have, again, something random happening, but if it's something very specific like an invasion or a takeover, or if it involves specific characters, like a kid invasion script. Maybe, but yeah, we can. I don't know. There are so many ideas that came to my mind. You know, there are so many ideas that come to my mind, like a million ideas. There could be an Octarch showing up sometime, or some guards that are moving between one place and the other. I don't know. Goods getting transported. I mean, it can be anything, really. It can be absolutely anything. Okay. The point is that the system is not completed yet, so we have to complete it first, but I think it will be interesting when it's done. So we have our array of skill values. So here we will just do no, I wanted to declare this, right? Yes, I need to declare this in PS character. So next to the load skills, I think we will have another one which is load skills by array. And now I think this part remains the same. I think this part is just adding all the skills. So add all defined skills to the character, and it is basically set the value of the skills present, the skills of the character skills. Okay, so I don't think we should do is valid, but I think we can do if the num is greater than 0, right? And then we can do this, and then we can do I mean, it cannot be empty, so it cannot be empty. So this check, I think we can remove, and we can have oops, and we can have PS skill result, get in skill ID. Well, I think we already have a skill ID. I think if I take in skills, I will have already, but I think I need to move to the other view because this view is not great. Yes, so I think if I use now in skills dot ID, no, in skills of I dot skill ID, I think is already returning me an integer, which is the one that I should use, and then I have the same here, so it should be everywhere in skill, in skill, in skill, in skill, and the difference here is get skill ID Z and Y. I think Z and Y we don't really care. I think practice and knowledge can stay as 0, right? I don't think we need a practice and knowledge for our NPC. Oops, I pressed something I should have not. I shouldn't press. For NPC. Can we just check if in the meeting something is happening? Oh no, blah blah blah. Always fun to watch. And key character more likely pounds the character of the races. Blah blah blah. No 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 no. No, they are not really. They are not really saying something that I need to participate. Hello, business. Sorry, I was doing something else. I didn't check your messages. Do you use SQL for this project? Yes, we use. We have a SQL database, a MySQL database, on the backbone, and but consider that we try to hit the database as little as possible. So basically, everything is loaded at the game start, at the server start in memory, in a class which is called cache manager, which is basically our cache for everything that is in the database. And cache manager is holding pretty much everything that is in the database apart from all the players, but every trait, every monster, every definition, every quest, every dialogue, every whatever is preloaded and kept in memory, and then is used from cache manager, right? So let's say the database is hit when the game is loading, and is hit when you have to save or change something. But you need to hit the database as little as possible, because that's the bottleneck, right? Because there is a disk behind, obviously, and that's the bottleneck of your game. But yes, we are using MySQL, I would say with no big issues. Should I use base value or should I use current value? I have no idea. I think I should use base value. I think we said what we were going to use, right? We will use skill ID and current value. Okay. Skill ID and current value. So I need to use current value. Okay. Skill ID and current value. Okay, so I think this thing is doing what we need, right? I think this thing is doing what we need. As long as we pass in the skills, I think it should do what we need. So going back to the loading, yeah, the loading of the character. Now this load skill we cannot use, and we use our new created function, and here we pass in the array of skill value. Which is this thing, right? And we will pass in the skills. Now, is there a chance that he fails? I don't think so. Is there a chance that he fails? Okay, let's leave this, but I think it's not needed because I think we are checking. Well, no, we're going by ID, so actually he may fail. No, actually I think he may fail. He may fail because we may not find the right ID. Actually, here he was failing if there were no skills. No skills. I don't know. Let's see. We will test it anyway. Now there is another printout just for timing, but we don't care about it. These recalculate stats should actually work, I hope. I think these recalculate stats should not use anything database, right? Yes, exactly. So I think it should be fine. I don't know if it's needed also for NPC, but yeah, so hit points, I mean, all of this. We just set max to everything, right? We don't need... we don't need to think too much on this. It's an NPC that we want him to spawn with max characteristics, right? With max it out, you know, with so mana, stamina. Oops. So all of that will be set as max, right? Just check if there is any question. Oh, and did you tell mention that we are about to do another alpha release in the real version? I don't know how far it is, but something to look forward to. Yes, yes, we are going to. Yeah, hopefully the artificial intelligence of the Unreal version will be a bit better. I think we can improve it. At the moment, we are at the point where we need to port the game, otherwise the game will not evolve, you know. And so we need to port it. There's no chance. Vitals set or rig vital. This saves them as loaded state for restoring later without hitting the DB. NPC death resurrect. What the hell is this? It's setting something in memory anyway. So as long as it's setting something in memory, I'm fine. I just don't want to hit the database, right? Last login time. Last login time is definitely not needed for NPC. Pet elapsed time is not needed for NPC. Progression script. Progression script, I think, is used when we have an effect which is still running when the server shut down, and so it's getting saved on the when the server shut down, or when the character is logging off, meaning a player logging off. And I think that this is definitely not needed for NPC. Money. Do we need money? Do NPC have money, or you know that I don't know? I don't know if NPC are cheating on money, meaning that they have infinite money, or they have a limited amount of money. I have no idea. I think they are cheating and having infinite amount of money. But we can check, like, I think like for this guy, do we set any money? 1,140,000. I mean, why 1,140,000? Okay. So actually it seems that NPC have money. Are they making money when they're selling stuff? That's pretty interesting to see. So I can see how much money an NPC made. Like Lavrus made 2 millions. Lavrus made 2.7 millions by selling magic stuff, you know? I think it's pretty cool that it's getting recorded. I was not aware of that. Because I think it's recorded in the same way, like if he's a player, you know? So. Hello, Hula. Welcome. Welcome. We have 13 people on YouTube. I think is a record. We have 13 people watching on YouTube, and we have, unfortunately, only 2 on Twitch. I don't know why on Twitch we have so little, but we have anyway a total between the 2 platforms of 15. I think 15 is a pretty big number compared to our usual run rate. I mean, it's not a lot in an absolute way, but relatively to us, I think is a very good number. So thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for staying with me. Meanwhile, yeah, I think we have a lot from YouTube because it's probably the people that are in the meeting which have just clicked the YouTube to see what I'm saying, and if they are getting yes, who had just said that into the meeting. Yes, that is in current PS. Yes, he made 2.7 million. We can check what is the richest NPC, but maybe it's him. I can do a query doing select max money Tria, assuming Tria is the, come on, copy column name. What's the complexity of that? Select max money Tria from blah 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 characters where character type, we need to filter on the character types which are only NPC, where character type equal to 1. right? Wow, there is someone that has 67 millions. Who is he? 31. Alina, the tavern. Alina is 30. Alina as. No, it's not. It's wrong. Why? I'm looking at the same database. Select max. Select ID and max from where character type equal to 1. I don't understand. Why is saying 30 millions and then it's not? 31 Alina. 67. No, I think it's messing up. No, I think it's messing up. Let me do this. Where character type equal to 1. Order by money, descending, limit to 10. I think this may give us the is Crystal is 67 millions. Holy shit, this guy is rich. Let me see if it's true. Wow. Yes. Yes, 67 millions. Boys. Crystal S. 67 millions. Wow, 67 millions is a lot. So that's the job to get. Yeah, it does Terms of Travel, but I think people are paying for it, no? Aren't people paying for that? I mean, he's getting money somehow. So, I mean, I'm not giving him money, so he has money. So, if he has money, he got it somehow. I don't know, maybe he's not selling anything? I don't know. Anyway, it's 67 millions in the database. I don't know why, but he has 67 million. But I think anyway, our NPC can start with 0 money. I don't think it's needed for us to give these guys any money. So we will just do 0, 0, 0, 0. And we will do 0, 0, 0 here, and we don't care about the money that an NPC, even more the randomly generated event money guy. Now, we have to check if we need it for buying stuff, you know, so because if they don't have enough money to buy, I don't know if they can, but I think that when they buy, they are cheating because they are not really using money. So I think they are only gaining, you know. Sector info. Sector info is a very good question. Sector info, I think we need to set somehow, but I think we can spot. Okay, let's pass in a sector, okay? I think we have the sector because when we are generating the NPC, let me check. When we are generating the NPC, I think we have. I mean, the sector is associated to the spawn point. So I think we can get the sector from the spawn point. May not work when we are using coordinates alone, but it may work when we are using... I'm lost in my code. When we are getting the location here. I think this location also has the sector. I think. I'm pretty sure it does. Now, IntelliSense is sleeping, but I was just going to check if location has sector, but I think it does. So I think we will have the sector anyway. So let's just pass in the sector. I'm just saying, I just wanted to see if I get the webcam GG sometimes. Come on, waypoint lock. Okay, we'll go manually. Waypoint location. Okay, but now then I need a definition of location. Yes, sector already. So I think we can just pass in the sector info sector. I think would be okay. So we pass in the sector as well. We pass in the sector. But everything that is location. Anyway, let's pass it in for now, and then I see if it's really needed. Probably it's not even needed, but. Now the instance will always be 0, okay, because it's the main instance. Now the actor location. The actual location, I think we are already setting it. Why we want to set it again? I don't think we need to set this. I will remove it for now. I don't think we need to set the spawning location again because we do it already in the other code. Guilds we can completely remove. Notifications we can completely remove. Loot, yes, loot we need. So loot category we need. So we need an int which is in loot. This will be the biggest function ever. I mean, with the most parameters ever. But so there is something that we need. Then impervious to attack. Yes, we have the invulnerable and not. So that is an important one. And this one is a boolean, right? So we will pass in. Start to be a long list, huh? We will pass in the invulnerable because we have it. Familiars we don't need. Help event we don't need. Time connected we don't need. Start time this session we don't need. Right, and here there are traits. Traits we definitely need. Let me just check if there is any other question. In Ariel, it took me like 16 minutes to sprint from Amday to Gug, and then another 5 minutes to sprint to Idla, just to give you an idea of the travel time. Do portals still exist? What do you mean by portal? Okay, they are speaking about how much time it takes to move in the game in Unreal, because these are players that are mostly playing, I mean, they probably only played the other version, so. Okay, load traits. This, I think, is another one that unfortunately we need to duplicate, but it will be a very simple function, because we'll just be this for loop, basically. Right, and now the question is, should we load them from a random, or we should just randomize directly? Let me see how I stored my traits. How did I store my traits? My traits at the moment are stored as an array of strings, nothing else. Taken from the traits DB table. So in our example, what is it? Traits. We have no traits? Or I'm blind, I don't see them. Merchant, faction, variables, NPC type. Ah, traits are here. 2522. Why we store them as why we store them as strings and not as integers? No idea. I think it would be best to do it up front. Right? Or not? Yeah, I think so. Because we just do it simply as that. Okay, fuck it. I understand why. I understand why I did it as I understand why I did it as an F string, because there is a function already doing that and it's a bit easier, and then I can convert it later. Okay, fine. Now, one thing. So I think we can pass in the we can pass in the traits array to the loading. So yes, this is what I want to do. So I want to have a function which will be load traits from array. Load traits from array, and it will take a T array of int and I think I want to return false here, actually. And this thing to me makes no sense. right? And this we do. Okay, traitress seems to be fine as a name. Now this is an array though, and so we go with traitress of I, which is an int already, and we get the trait. If it's not a trait, we give an error. If not, we set it, and I think we are good. And I think we are good, boys. No, we lost more people on Twitch. Why? You like YouTube more than Twitch, huh? That's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's not a problem. Load traits from array. So we will, so I think this one is good. I just need to add it here. Do you say load traits from array or by array? Maybe from array. Load skills. From array. The meeting should be finished by now, right? There's still people speaking though. Thank you all, thank you the dev, bye bye. Well, the music quest has spawned off the quest. The PC move quite easily. I'm gone. Bye bye. See you people. Okay, so I'm just closing the old game window and I just said goodbye to everyone. Let me see if there were anything here. You might add some quests to win with some better reward to get them lower again. You delete the guild, but it's a good thing to have something on them, as to say all AM random event happens. No, I don't think we need it for the guild. I don't think we need it in the guild. I think we already know which are the NPC that are we know which are the NPC which are part of random events. So I think I have another way to check that. So this will be load traits from array, and we will put here a t array of int. No, here a t array of int, which we will call whatever, which we will call in traits, right? Okay. And then this is an interesting one. Multicast the new traits to all clients. I think this is already done. No, it's already done. I mean, for sure we don't do it in the loading. We do it. We don't do it? No, I think we do it. I don't know when, but okay, let's leave the comment, but I'm not that convinced that we don't do it. This data is loaded only if it's a player, not an NPC. Okay, so all this stuff we can remove because it's only for players. This one is again, why we have all these things, but okay. If use ID different than PID, this is a master NPC template, so load character specific item from the master NPC. Yeah, this one I don't think we use. Okay, so here we have the inventory. inventory. Now for the inventory, I'm not really sure how did I recorded it. So let me go and check. How did we record the inventory in our character? We have an array of item descriptions. Okay, so this is what we will get, right? So we need, again, we need to, unfortunately, we need to change this function. Owner get PID, character inventory load. This is another function which is fairly complex. And unfortunately we need to duplicate. Do we have a better way? Well, actually we need only the standard item ID. So the fact is that here I will point to you know, probably there is a better way though to do this. Maybe there is a better way. Instead of doing that, maybe we can, I mean, instead of loading the inventory like if it was from the database, maybe we can use this one is not easy, eh? This one is not easy. Relationship we can remove. Faction we need, yes. Variables we need. Merchant we need. Trainer we said no. Spells. Spells for now, no. Experience and progression we don't need. Kill experience. Yeah, kill experience I guess we need, which is how much experience you get by killing this NPC. That's interesting. Banker, no, we don't want this to be a banker. Statue, we don't care. So statue is automatically false, but I guess it's false. I guess it's false as a default, so... And then we need to assign the brain to the NPC. Right? Okay, the rest should be the same. All this part I think is fine. We still have some problems in these areas. I just skipped forward to see how much was missing, but this part I think it stays exactly the same. Now, it would be nice maybe to have this split into another function so I don't have to really replicate it fully, but I think it's okay. The problem that we have is the kill experience, because I think that the kill experience is a field in the database. Is it for each character really, or is it really for each one? Kill exp is this one, right? Do we use this thing? I don't think we use this anymore. I think it is an old field that was used a long time ago and now is gone. I don't think we are using this for anything anymore. I think it's now driven by a script. Probably. Most likely. Most likely it's driven by a script. I can ask to Davide to see if he knows, but this one is not used, so let's just remove it. Now the big question is the loading of the spells. The merchant info, I think I already created a merchant info, so I think I already did a merchant info in my random event. I think I created, yes, merchant info. I think it's already set properly if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So merchant info is easy because we can just pass it in and it's already pre-made for us, which is beautiful. It's one thing that we get for free from the work that we did before. So merchant info will be in merchant info and we just set it I need to say if is merchant true or not though, eh? We can say if this one is different than null pointer. Yeah, I think it will be something like that. Something like that will be okay. Now we need the factions. The factions, we saved it as a pointer to faction set. Did I do it already properly or not? Load factions by array. Yeah, we did it properly already. So I think we are already getting the result that we want, okay, which is a faction set. So I think it also this one is already done. Let me just check if it's true, but I'm assuming yes. Update faction standing. I think it's already okay. I'm assuming it's okay. I'm assuming it's okay. So we will pass in the factions. We will call it in factions and we will set it to... Okay, my webcam starts to go crazy. I don't know why. Sometimes it happens. I don't know. So this one is good. Now, variables. Variables should be fairly easy because variables, character variables, add variable name, blah blah blah. So I think also this one I did already the proper way, no? Character variable add, yeah, I did it already. I did it already the proper way, or not? Character variable add, character variable add. I think I did it right, but here, I mean, if it's not a pointer, I will not be able to set it. I will have to do a copy of it. I will have to do a copy of it. Character variable. But definitely we need that. I think it's between factions and merchant or whatever. Okay, we'll put it here. We will put it here, boys. In character variables. But it is a T array of characters. I don't understand. It seems that I did it right, but at the end I didn't. I'm a bit confused. So it's an array of char variable, right? Here what I need yes, the idea, okay. The idea was to create again a load variable by array. Okay, I remember this. I think I did it for this purpose. Because it is a T map, it must be a T map on the character. So let's do a load variables from array, exactly like we did before. And this will be a T array of char variable. And we will call like inverse or whatever. And here we don't need We don't need any of this. I think it's much simpler. We just cycle on, we just loop on this, and then we get our variables name. Yeah, I already thought to do it this way. So we get name twice, and then we get value. Okay, so this is just a simple way to do. And then I need this. So load variables from array. I need to declare it somewhere. I will declare it if there is a load variables here. Perfect. And we will do a bool load variables from array. And that's it. And then this one we will call it here. So we will do load variables from array of my whatever in char variables, right? I think it can never return false, this thing. It's impossible to return false. It's always returning true, so we are not even gonna check it, I think, in this case. Not even gonna check it because it's not needed. Right? Okay, so I think we did a good job here. We are not yet done, unfortunately. There are a few pieces which are pretty tricky. There are a few pieces which are pretty tricky, and in particular, and I avoided them by purpose because I was trying to do the other pieces first, but the pieces that are a problem are the inventory. So if the guy has any, the NPC has any item equipped, or he has any armor or whatever, so that part is definitely a problem at the moment. And this function will fail, so we need to replace it with something that works. And I need to think about it a bit. Then we have spells. Spells for now we can leave it out. We may leave it out, but we may need this in the future, so we may want to add that back, and then the rest should be fine. So it's only the inventory which is a mess. Now for the inventory. The problem of the inventory is that it's relying on a lot of other information. So it's relying on I will remove my pipe or not. No, maybe next stream. Next stream I will remove my pipe. The problem of the inventory is that it's relying on a lot of information, like the base stats of the item and all of that stuff. So we need the inventory is definitely a problem. Inventory is a problem. How did we... Let me check how did we store it, okay? Because maybe I did some reasoning already. We have name, slot, and quantity. Name, slot, and quantity is not bad. We have the slot for real, or I was faking this? Do we really have the slot in the inventory? It is not too bad. We already have the slot. Item location and quantity. Okay. Okay. Select start for an item where character the owner, location and parent. So this is basically, this is extracting all the items that this NPC has from the database, right? Instead of this, we need to pass in our information. The problem is that here again, we are pretty deep into the freaking code, and replacing this is again a mess. Because then this one should be fine. Up to here is kind of fine, but then what we get another loading from the database, you know, and this is where we start to get crazy, because this code is a super big, and I cannot touch this. There is no way I'm gonna touch this. No way. No way I'm gonna touch this. But why is reading again out of item description and that stuff? Because probably the description can be changed for the specific item, huh? Yeah. You can override the name and you can override the description in the item stats. I think for this one, if we could fake the result set,
His work has just begun.
Holy shit. Probably. This work has just begun. So we need to think how to make this function still work properly, but get our items instead of this query. I mean, one trick I could do, which is a bit of a trick, but one trick I could do would be the following. Let me see if it works. Yeah, it works. Should we do it this way? It's obviously a trick, but basically we are faking a query, which is not going to happen, but I think the select from dual is not hitting the database. I think it's not hitting the database, so it's just MySQL returning. I want to know if we are hitting the database or not somehow. No, I want to know. I would like to know if select from dual is doing. What do you mean is more or less equivalent to the Oracle select from dual? I did select from dual and it worked. Is it because I'm inside the dbeaver? I don't think so. I think it should work anyway, no? Now it makes me think that it's not, but I think it does work. Hey? Fuck. No, it works. It works in MySQL, so it works also. Okay, so I think that's a way. I mean, it's not the best way, but it's a way. it means that we can split from here down, you know, and we can have this same function called this. Right? The problem is that we will have to select multiple items. Can we do multiple rows? I mean, it's a bit of a shit. I mean, I don't know if I really want to do it, but but I think is a possibility, you know. I think it's the easiest that I can think of. I mean, it's a bit of a dirty trick, really. It's kind of a dirty trick. Why my webcam is going crazy? 1 second, I will disconnect it, or no? No, it's back. I don't know. Sometimes it looks like, or it's overheating, or is the software getting crazy? I don't know. Maybe it's the software getting crazy. You know, I disconnected again. It's like going on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. What? And now it's doing it continuously. Boom. He's dead. Okay, 1 second. Okay. I disconnected it completely and reconnected it. Let me see if it works now. Kind of no. No. Doesn't pick me up. It doesn't pick me up, boys. Why? Let's restart it. We need a clean way to do what I want to do. And I'm not sure if there is a clean way. Right? The cleanest way for me would be... the cleanest way for me would be... So I have no pipe anymore. Yes, it works. The cleanest way. The cleanest way for me would be if I could provide a result set. If I could create a result set which is similar to the output of this, just with my items. And then split from here down. Okay, split this into another function. And that would be perfect. The problem is that I checked before for the character. Okay, that would make really no sense because our character was so different. But here in the inventory is really the case, you know. So is exactly one-to-one with what we need to do. So this function is exactly what we need to use, and it's a bit of annoying that we need to redo it. So I think we should check if we can create this result set by an array. I know it's not perfect, you know, but I don't have a better way, and it's all for the good of not replicating the code. Okay, let me see if we have a way. Okay, if we have a way to do that. So results, I checked it before and I was a bit scared on the complexity, but I think I need to check it again. I think I need to check it again. Because if we find a way, it may be useful also in other cases. Right? Where is the result set defined? Is defined here in SQL wrapper. So basically, result set, okay, is created by a MySQL result. And for the rest, it's pretty much empty. So it's just a container. It's just a container of MySQL REST, right? The problem. So I think that the question is if I can create programmatically this thing. I think it's a very weird question, so probably no one will you know. I don't think I can do it easily. I don't think I can do it easily. I mean, I can fake it with the select from dual, but I don't think I can easily do the... Let me see what I can do with this thing. MySQL REST pointer, okay. Now let me do it from another place where I already have all the includes, otherwise let me do it from here, whatever. In any place here we have it. In any place here we have it. So let's just put it like randomly here and see. So current field, current row, data. Data cursor, end of file, fields. think it's a mess. I mean, it doesn't really contain data structures that I can easily manipulate. So he has like a list of fields, then he has data, which is MySQL data, which I guess it will be even more complex. So I think that the trick of the select from dual is a possibility. The trick of select from dual is a possibility, but still is a bit shit. The trick, which other trick I can think of? Because the problem is that this function is there indented into, I mean, is as another function that is called inside, which is still using all the fields, you know, is using all the fields. Or I change this function to use a tmap, and then, you know, I cut it off above. That could be a way, but this will be quite a loss of performance because it means that I have to create a tmap every time I load an item. And as you have seen, we are loading thousands of items sometimes. So touching this function and making it less performant, I think is a very bad idea. Because we have... So another way is, instead of using this, I think using this is too much of a mess. Another way is to actually give the character an item. So simulate the exchange, right? Simulate the exchange, like if we are adding an item to his inventory, and I think that would probably be easier than touching this load thing. Yes. I think this is a good idea. So if I do like add, so if I'm adding an item to the inventory of the character, I don't know if I can call this function directly, but I assume I can. I assume I can do this. It's not going by ID though, it's going by... it's going by item directly. I need it by ID. Add an item to the inventory. Okay, but I need a function that is just exchanging the item. But I think we have it. Probably we have it in Exchange Manager or something. I think in Exchange Manager we should have a function that is just exchanging items, right? I'm pretty sure. We must have it. We must have it. So offer item, remove item from offer, offered item, is offer insane. Transfer offered item and money to the character target. Okay, so this one should, in theory, do what we need. And now the point is, if those items have been loaded already in memory, current item offer slot offered, the PS item slot get item. Yeah, it's already a PS item. It's already a PS item. It's already a PS item. I need something that starts from the ID. Inventory add. Inventory add. You see, this one is doing inventory add, but it's taking the new item as It is not really a very easy problem to solve. You know, guys, what I will do, I think I will solve it off stream, because I think I'm not adding much to the stream at this point. I need to resolve this problem before moving on. But basically what we did, right, I think I'm going to close the stream, but what we did, also because it's a bit late now, it's more than midnight, and tomorrow I have to wake up early. So what we are doing, we are still on this task, okay, which is pretty complex. And actually there is more of this, because randomize race, for example, we did, but there is also the loading, like the loading of the, so every one of this is randomize or load. Okay, so there are actually two sections of this. So one is the randomize and another is the load, right? And we are working on the load at the moment. So let's say set more than load, but set equipment and set items is the same thing, but set equipment items is the same thing. All right, but then you see how much we did. We did set the loot, set the whatever. We did a million things. So set all the others. Okay, so actually we are working on this, which is allowing us to set all the properties of an NPC so that it becomes a real NPC, a real and fully working NPC, which at the moment is not. I think we did already a good job in converting this function, and I think this function now, the load, how did we call it, this character, load for event, I think this function now is in pretty good shape, and I think that pretty much all of it is working. The only thing that is missing at this point is the inventory, right? And we need to understand how to pass in the inventory. And the only thing that we know is that the inventory is coming to us from PS random event. The inventory is coming to us in this format. Okay, so as an array of item descriptions, which we can already put here, no problem. And this thing, right, this in inventory is the one that somehow we need to pass here, right? And now my idea would be, you know, would be to do the following: to do a for loop on this, to do a for loop on this thing, and then for each of the items contained, which at the end we said there are item description, right? So for each of these items, we need to find a way to add them to the inventory. So like we are giving the item to the NPC, and then we are keeping the item. So this is what we need to do. So, but I don't know yet how to do it in the current code, because the current code is always assuming that you are or loading it from the database, or you are taking it from another place, being the inventory of someone else, or being the chest or the ground or something like that. So there is no function today which is allowing to take to basically generate an item from scratch, you know, to generate an item, yes, from a set of parameters, because the game is expecting that or it comes from the database or it comes from another container. Or is a copy of an existing item in the cache. Like for example, when you use crafting. When you are crafting, you are generating an item out of nowhere. And so probably we need to use a function similar to that and then add it to the inventory of the player. Right? But I have to think a bit about it. This one is a bit tricky. I need to think, and I need to search in the current code a bit. But it's starting to be a bit late, so I have to go. Thanks for watching. I think it's been a good stream. A lot of people joined on YouTube. It was very nice. Thank you. We reached 15 viewers or 16 viewers, I think, at a certain point. The maximum, so it was nice. And the more people we have, the more fun we have. So if you are new to the stream, please click on follow on Twitch, so we'll see each other again. It would be very nice. And click on subscribe on YouTube. Also, we have a Patreon site, which is patreon.com/planeshift, in case you want to contribute to the game. Also, you can tip me and tip the game using the link that is in the just below. So there is a tip link that you can use to cheer for us. Good night, people. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Tomorrow evening, I think. Let's see. If I keep my motivation high, I think I can do it. See you, boys. Next time.